We are live. What is up, Landry? How you doing?
Pretty good up here in the office in Phoenix. So
Man,
definitely, feels a little weird, but it's
that's a
gonna be
good
here.
looking studio though. Do you feel
I
you're
know.
feeling
I'm
pretty
like, I gotta get my house looking like this. So
I know, seriously. I got the little virtual background that looks kind of looks
no,
kind of
yeah,
janky.
yeah, we're liking it. I'm liking it.
Well, welcome everybody that is watching live. This is the weekly Investor Thrive Live call where we basically break down all the things that everyone needs help with, like any questions that anyone has, how to use batch, what's going on with wholesaling. If you're struggling, if you're not getting deals, why not? We're here to answer those questions. We've teamed up basically to provide as much value as we can for everyone here. So yeah, we're here to answer questions and help you guys succeed. I'm super excited for today. Had a great morning. How was your morning, Landry?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's the time zone is kind of messing with me a little bit here because we're 2 hours ahead where I'm at. So other than that, it's been good to see everybody, and obviously got to meet you the other day. That was really cool. So
Was
yeah,
yeah.
enjoying the visit here. So
You know what's really interesting about being virtual, and this is good for everyone to hear because if you do virtual wholesaling, it's But anyway, being virtual, it's like you feel like you know someone, right? But when you meet in person, it's like this is so much better.
oh, I know. I'm like, yeah, you kind of feel like you know somebody already, and then you're like, oh, I can just, actually get to talk to you, and you don't have to
Right.
schedule something out to get time with somebody. So I love it.
Exactly. So for anyone listening to that, so you live in Tennessee, I live in Salt Lake, but we met in Arizona for an event,
Yeah.
and in meeting in person, it really does help develop relationships way better. So if anyone is doing business in their own markets and a seller wants to meet, you are going to have so much greater impact and connect with them over like in person than you will over the phone. Now, me having said that, like I love to just do deals over the phone and over Zoom just so I don't have to drive anywhere. I get lazy. Like even if someone's in my neighborhood and wants to sell, I'm like, let's just do
Up
this
on a
over the
date.
phone
Yeah.
because I don't want to waste my time. Time is so valuable. But if you're new to this, I would suggest when you're new doing it in person because you are going to be going on appointments in person, meeting with buyers in person, going to meetups because you're going to develop so much better relationship with people versus just virtually. So
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It was really cool to see that too at the event, and other people coming up to you that have just, seeing videos or whatever and just meeting people from the community. It makes a huge difference and was so nice and exciting to actually see people in person rather than just on a recording or a video or whatever. So I love that.
exactly. And for anybody that's watching this live, we love to have you want you to drop your questions. But if you don't get to catch this live, I do have a masterclass that I do every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where I teach you exactly how to start wholesaling from start to finish. So if you watch this not live and you watch it later, hop onto the masterclass where if you want to learn because it's free and I teach you how to use batch and many other strategies to get going. So yeah, anyone I want to let people know about that. So let's dive right into this. Um, are there any specific questions that people have that you guys want to put in the chat? And if there's no comments coming in right now, that's totally fine. We can answer any that maybe Landry has. I have obviously there's questions I get all the time that I can pop up in there, but that's kind of what I want this call to be is like let's answer questions. Let's help people I guess overcome struggles that they're having right now. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you guys have questions, I'll be able to. I can't see them, just a heads up, Nathan. But
Gotcha.
if you guys have questions about where I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some of these things that Nathan will be talking about on batch leads, so you can pull up that data or whatever kind of thing to just get a hold of how to actually do this and get things organized and everything. So I we'll be answering kind of a couple things that I wanted to bring up here or bringing them, and then we'll kind of just go from there, I think.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. What so you have some right now that you got that we can go over?
yeah, let's go over. I really wanted to talk about, and just sitting in as well with you the other day and your call,
Mhm.
we could kind of just talk about with people, cash buyers, and building those relationships. I know that you're talking about it all the time with reverse wholesaling, but just for anybody that hasn't maybe dabbled in that or hasn't done it that way, I think would be really cool to kind of talk about that. And then I can show it in here as well,
For
as we're
sure.
going over that or maybe afterwards. So
Yeah. So you want me to dive into kind of what is painless wholesaling, reverse wholesaling, what that is, and why
yeah,
it's so important
yeah,
to start
yeah.
with
And
that?
maybe we can talk a little bit about what to like the big questions to ask to when you're trying to determine their buy box and things that are going to, the biggest things that are going to really help you find those good deals quicker
Of
would
course.
be awesome.
So a major issue a lot of wholesalers start out with, like when they're brand new, is they do not know what a deal is. They do not, right? Like they just say they're taught like, hey, go find a deal, right? So they're talking to a seller. The seller is like, yes, I want to sell. My house is worth. My neighbor sold their house for 250. I'll sell it to you for 200,000, right? So as a brand new wholesaler, you're like, that might be a good deal. The house might be let's say the house is in decent shape, right? So it doesn't need that many repairs. So you're like, okay, she's giving me a $50,000 discount. That might work. So they put it under contract and they put it out at 210, right? It's the ARV, let's say, is 250. The seller's saying I'll give it to you for 200, and they're putting it out at 210. So they're trying to get it sold and they can't find anyone that is interested in the property. And they're like, what the heck? I got it for like way lower than it's worth, right? The
Right.
problem is there's a couple problems. That street, that area where they have that deal could just not be a place where a lot of investors are interested in. It could be in a
Right.
bad industrial area, it could be in a bad neighborhood. So there's a lot of issues right there, like just with location. Location is very important when investing. You could be a brand new wholesaler that's doing this in the middle of North Dakota where there's a population of 1,000 people, and you're trying to do this in a town where no cash buyers are flipping homes. That's another problem. Not only is it the neighborhood's bad, maybe you're just in a bad town, bad city.
Right.
And I know this because I did nationwide wholesaling for like, I still do it. I still do deals all over, but we would get leads from the middle of nowhere, and the seller would be so motivated, and we'd be like, oh, wow, this is great. We got it like 50%. But then you would find out that nobody is buying in that area. You tried everyone. You were calling agents, you called everybody, but no
Yep.
one's buying. So that's a big problem that wholesalers are having, is they just are told to go out and go find a deal, but there's a lot of things that can happen that cause them to waste their time. So
So
location's a problem. And how do you overcome that location issue is, well, you find the buyers in the area first, and if you can't find any, it's probably not a good area to invest in, right?
yeah, if I mean that's one of those things because sometimes we'll with challenges or whatever we're doing and going into batch leads, people will be like, well, what if I can't, what if there are no comps, or what if there are no properties that have sold here within a certain time frame, and it will just kind of depend on the group, but a lot of the time people will be like, just stay away. It's not going to be, it's going to be so much harder or almost near impossible. I hate to say impossible, but
Mhm.
nobody wants to be buying over there, type deal. So
Right.
make a
So,
huge difference.
so let's just say this, right? Let's say there's not a lot of comps. That probably means that there's not a lot of action going on in that area, right? If there's not a lot of flip comps. So that's not good news for you. But let's say you're in a small town. Let's say, when I say small town, I say like 50,000, right?
Yeah.
Let's say but you find that buyer who buys up everything. He loves rentals in that area. You just found the right person to work with, right? You found the
Yeah.
guy that's going to buy your deals. So if you go ask that buyer, if you network with you take him out to lunch, you call him, you get on a Zoom call, do not just text. That's not going to help you develop that relationship, but you call him and say, what are you looking for? And he gives you that specific criteria of what he's looking for. You are going to have a much easier chance of getting that house on that street that he wants. Now, let's say a random lady on a street that he did not say he's interested in says, hey, I'll sell you this house and I'll give you a great deal. Well, who's the best person to talk to? That buyer. You can say, hey,
Right.
your criteria is not in this area. Would you even be interested? Should I even pursue this? And he's like, no, don't even. That I've been investing for 10 years. That place stinks.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Because then I mean, then you move on to the next one and go from there. I think that, building those relationships with buyers, and that's why I think, your whole, like what you're always talking about, painless wholesaling, and really focusing on reversing that, and reversing wholesaling strategy is just building those relationships first so that you have the confidence to know what to look for. Because we can talk all day about, like, if a property looks like XYZ, do it. But it's like, is somebody going to buy that? Even though it's going to actually be a great discount, like in your mind, what you're going
Right.
over. So I don't know if we want to show, maybe I'll just kind of show how you can pull this up in
Yeah,
batch leads,
of
like how
course.
to pull these buyers for people that you're like, hey, I'm going to pick 20 of these people, 10 of these people, and try to give them a call and build those relationships just
I
like
think,
that.
yeah, let's show it. Let's show it.
Okay.
Okay, so all you have to do is go to present your screen, and then I'll let you present it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm like using this other monitor down here, and it's like teensy tiny buttons. I found it. Okay, cool.
Okay. And by the way, last thing I want to say about this before you pull it up is this really hit hard when I was doing nationwide wholesaling. I was in a area called Peoria, Illinois, right? And I kind of know about Peoria, Illinois because I did door-to-door sales, and that was like a big area where we would sell Dish Network. So I was like, oh, this is a great area. So
Yeah.
we had this lead that someone was asking, it was like worth like 200,000 fixed up, but they were asking for like 50,000. So that's like obviously less than 50% off. And we were like, whoa, this is a great deal. We're going to make a ton of money on this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we get it under contract, and we send it out to, using the strategies we do to find the buyers using batch. We send out to every buyer, and they just laugh at us. They're like, we've all seen this deal in this town. We've all seen this house sucks. It's right by the railroad. It needs a ton of work, and it's just in a bad area. But because I didn't know that area, I didn't know the buyers, I wasted all my time negotiating with the seller, getting it under, sending the paperwork, following up on the contract to find out that, hey, this is just a bad deal, right?
Dang. I
But
mean, what happens in a scenario like that, I guess, with that seller? I guess they just have to run into somebody that's willing to buy it. Like, what happens with that? It's like, if you really want to offload it, you're just waiting for the next person to come by that is interested in that, I guess, right?
well,
I mean, I
then
don't know.
yeah, so then you're able to have like a better discussion after once you have that knowledge, right? But you
Right.
wasted all that time if the seller's not going to go lower. If they don't go lower, like let's in that deal, they were like, I need this at 20. So when we
Okay.
went back, they were like, no, we're not going to 20. We'll just wait. We'll just wait.
Yeah.
That's what the seller said. So the only other option you have at that point for that seller is to say, hey, I can list this for you, because the only way we're going to be able to get you this thing sold, all the cash buyers in town, I know I've reached out to them, they're not interested. The only thing we
Yeah.
can do for you is list this and find a partner that we can partner with on the MLS. And that's called the innovation. You're telling them that you can find a buyer for them on the MLS. You won't charge them any fees. You'll list it. You won't charge them any commissions, and you'll take care of the whole process. So then there goes the innovation. And then people would be like, what about creative? Well, do you want a rental or do you want a property in the middle of a crappy area? Probably
Right.
not, right? It's probably not going to be
Yeah.
easy to rent out. So, but if you had the knowledge of what the buyers said because you understand the area, then you could, without having to sign the agreement, negotiate, you could just say, hey, talk to a lot of the people I know in this area. They've seen this deal just like me. It's not going to make sense at that price.
Yeah.
And then you can go right into options. And the time that just saved you, probably save you a couple hours, versus
Yeah.
waiting.
I think that's big too, because you know, when you, at least for a lot of the people that I talk to, when you're getting started, especially, you hit a wall. You're like, that's all I knew what to say. I don't know what to say now.
Mhm.
When it gets to the point of, I thought that this is where somebody buys my deal, and I get, I get my
Yeah.
spread. But when you start to learn about the different choices and things like that, and helping them list it, or like novation, type deal. So that's really important.
Yeah, and it definitely gives you confidence knowing, what people are buying versus just trying. And I was doing a call on Jerry, so help out Jerry Norton and
Yeah.
on some of his coaching calls, and some of his students, and it's not just his, it's everybody. They struggle they get a deal and they can't sell it, and they were like, man, I was so excited. And if you keep doing this, if you repeat this pattern of just locking up stuff that you have no idea what you can do with it, you're going to lose confidence when you get a contract. You're going to be like, I don't know if I can get
It's not
excited.
even gonna, yeah, I'm not even gonna, nothing's gonna happen with this,
I don't,
so.
and there's nothing worse than getting a contract and not even being excited about it. You want to be
Yeah,
excited once you get a deal. You're like, I'm about to make some money.
yeah, yeah. 100%. I think that's so cool. It's, it's all of those little things that maybe don't get talked about as much or whatever the case is. They're just all important. So let's kind of go over, for you guys that are watching, if you're thinking about, oh, and I'm going to pull this up. Maybe I can see on, let me know if you still, okay, perfect. It still shows batch leads. I'm going to pull this up on YouTube. I just realized I probably can pull it up here to make sure I haven't missed anything so far. In the comments. Let's see.
No, there's nothing there.
It's good. Okay, perfect. I want to make sure that, yeah, you got it. All right. So when you're in here and you are wanting to start, like, how do I even find these buyers? Obviously, there's a plethora of different ways you could go about it. In the community, Nathan has a community in Discord. We have one for batch service in Slack that you can connect with people in your same exact market. There's real estate agents, like everybody under the sun is in there, and it's a great place to network in these communities. That's a way. There's Facebook groups. But when you're wanting to pull this data as well in batch leads, let's just pick Phoenix, because that's where I'm at right now. I'm always doing Phoenix. We could do a different market too if somebody wants to. Feel free to put it in the chat and we will pull up your market. But I'm going to go to Phoenix, Arizona, and it's just pulling up the total over here. So over 445,000 properties found. And then we can start narrowing it down. Now, there is this quick filter down here, just to kind of give everybody the idea of how this works as well. If you're using batch leads or wanting to, is these quick filters are really cool because they're breaking down what you have on the right. So out of these 445,000, there's 111,000 cash buyers, but it's super broad. So I'd love to kind of pick your brain too, Nathan, when I open up these filters, like what's important to you because this is where I usually go, is these deeper ones down here, so that we're not pulling up 100,000. You know what I mean? We're going to be something that's more specific. So usually I'll put things like, always has to be a cash purchase. This filter right here is, you want cash purchases or not. That's really all there is to it. This one right here. So yes, I don't usually do the owner type. Are you ever specifying, like, do you need it to be, or do you prefer if they're company or individually owned?
I don't, because someone will purchase it within an LLC or someone will purchase it in their own name.
Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because you can always learn from there and talk it over. Okay. Do you ever do, this is another one that I usually skip. I usually do like the purchase date to make sure it was recent enough, to at least get a niche down list and the
Right.
number of properties owned. But do you ever do a purchase amount? I feel like when you're getting started, you probably leave that alone as your, I don't know. What would you do for this?
I don't do a purchase amount unless I don't, unless it's like a giant list still. And I'm like, okay, let's narrow down. My property that I have is under 500,000. So let's just
Right.
try to narrow down the buyers that have purchased in that price range. But usually it's not necessary.
Cool. Okay. So usually I'll do like last 3 months. Do you give it a bigger time
I
span?
go 12 months. I go
Okay,
12 months on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we wanted to, we could make sure, they own at least 2, or that they own 10, type deal, so that we're pulling people up that didn't buy it to live in it with cash type deal and they're not really investing. Do you care about that, or do you just like to pull like a broader thing?
Again, if it gives me too much, then I'll narrow it down. But
Then
usually I just go broad. And by the way, for anyone watching that just popped in, tell us what market you're in. And we'll see if we can help you out and ask any questions that you have, because that's the purpose of this call. Because I've seen people
100%.
jump on. So welcome.
Yeah, that would be perfect. I know I always get a good mix of, I usually always have people in Florida and Texas are the big markets when hopping on here. So yeah, let us know where you guys are at. And if you are having trouble finding these lists of buyers or sellers or whatever you guys want to go over, this is what we're here for. So
That's right. But yeah, so I usually go broad, and then if it's too much data, then we go smaller. This is how we're looking at buyers, everyone, by the way. We're looking for buyers in specific areas.
Yep. So let's do that. And I just have it blurred over here for YouTube, if you guys are wondering. Oh, one other thing, because this is 4,700, but let's say I'm not in multifamily, because you can see that these are like apartments. Would you also make sure that you're doing like
single family? That's what I would do. If it's single family, let's keep it single family. If it's residential, multi-unit, then you go multi-unit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you guys can do that in here too, that you're looking for cash purchases that are for a certain type of property, or even a certain type of year build, if you really want to narrow it down. But I think keeping it broad is better. So we'll do that. Click apply. So now we're looking at about 2,800 properties, and you can see some of these are really nice homes, but let's not pay too much attention to that and look at some of these. Let's look at this guy. And I might have to blur some of this out.
Yeah. So Landry, what this is doing is this is pulling properties that have been flipped recently that are active listed by real estate agents, and it's showing, hey, this is the end product, right? That's how it's determining that it's a cash buyer, because it's listed, right? Most of the time, that's how these actives are.
With these, no, I would do something a little bit more specific in the filters to pull people that are more likely to be like fix and flipping. So let's do that too, because then this one right here, the logic behind it is just truly if it's a cash purchase. So let's put something down here. Sometimes what I'll do is with the cash buyers, what we did is that they purchased in the last 12 months, and then I will go to either the ownership info to see it already sold on wait, here it is. Let's see. Owner type, last sale date. Yeah, I'll do sometimes like the last sale date to be like they bought it 12 months ago and then they sold it, in the last 3 months type deal.
Right.
And then it will pull up people that owned it and then sold it, which is good to know, because then you can find people that are actually like this one right here. Let's look at, I don't know if it's going to open up here for me.
That's true, right? Because then it's like, okay, that must be a flipper. That must be a cash buyer, right? Because of that.
100%. Here, let me put this. Do I have to blur things that are just whatever, or only contact info?
Names, contact information, emails, phone numbers, and
okay.
You just can't link any of those names and personal information to those.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, either way, this property right here, let's see if we can make that work out. I think that's good. Getting the hang of like this blurring thing. But they've owned it for 7 months. It was built in 1946. And this is an awesome property that you can tell has absolutely been professionally flipped. So then we could, reach out and skip trace. Here, let me block this off real quick. But skip trace them and start those conversations about, what they've done.
Yeah, I might move into there, Landry.
I know. I'm liking this. Sometimes you'll look at a house and you're like, oh, the landscaping, it's beautiful. It looks awesome. I was on like we were showing people how it works. Hopped in and I was like, they just did fresh paint. They didn't do anything. So it's always good to come in here and kind of see. You can tell these are all brand new doors. Just awesome.
I like that. That's cool. Hey, shout out to Sean Baxter from Salt Lake City, Utah, for who's joining us. Thanks for telling us where you're from, man. Let us know if you need any help. We're here. We're basically going over how to find buyers using batch leads. Let's go.
Awesome. Yeah. Welcome, Sean. And we can go to, in Utah and start pulling these lists too. But basically from here, and obviously guys, for YouTube, we're not going to be like showing this certain bits here. So I'm just kind of blocking these off, but there we go. But what you could do at this point is if they still own the property, then you could skip trace them and get their contact information with just a click and give them a call right here in batch. You could also go to the MLS tab. I mean, talk a little bit about, Nathan, like your relationship building with agents, because look how cool this is to come in and just be like, oh, this has been professionally remodeled. I'm going to call up the agent here and, go from there. But this is important too, looking at this.
Yeah. So real quick, I want to let everybody know that if you look at the ownership name, it's blurred out right now, but it's an LLC, right? So if you skip trace that, most likely it's going to be difficult to find the number because it's difficult to find LLCs because they're like, they're a little deeper than just someone's name. So you can take this LLC and just Google it. As far as I know, Landry, isn't that right? Like when it's an LLC and you skip trace it, it does not always like return the right info just because it's like in an LLC.
I know that we do have information on LLCs in here to skip trace them. I can't say for certain in terms of like it's always going to, or it's not as likely, but I will say that 100% you could skip trace LLCs in here.
Shoot, then I'm wrong then, everybody. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. I mean, and if that doesn't work out, then of course you could definitely just look them up too online. So either way.
So check this out. Landry, what I like to do is I like to call the real estate agent that represents the cash buyer, because I know
Mhm.
that the agent usually has a good relationship with not only that probably cash buyer, but probably many more. So we can see right here who this agent is. It's Scott Meyer, and as you're blanking it out, I love it. But we could give him a call. That's an office number, so I usually like to search it in Google and try and find out their their cell phone number. And
Right.
if we want, I can call Scott right now and try and see if he would be a good contact. Do you think that'd be a good use of time, or what do you
Oh,
think?
heck yeah. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think definitely reach out, and because this is the whole idea is that you're pulling, for everybody on here, you're pulling this data in your area, and you could really narrow it down if you're focusing on like even a zip code, or if you want to make it broader and do an entire county type deal, pull up the information. You don't have to pull this huge list of 5,000 people into your account, like narrow it down, pick some people out, and then just give them a call and find out, what are they doing, if they'll work with you and everything like that. So I think that's a great idea if you want to give them a call.
Let's give
Here,
him
let
a
me
call
send you
right
that.
now.
Yeah, did you get here? I don't know if you can see it, probably not.
I
His
just
email.
looked him up online. I'm calling.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
I'm gonna see if I can just get his cell phone number, because I don't really like calling the office. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
the
yeah.
office is just a waste of my time. But I found his number. Let me see. I just Googled his name and the brokerage name. So let me give him a call. I'm gonna reference the property that we're looking at, and I'm gonna say, hey, I see that this is an amazing flip.
Mhm.
I'm an investor out of Salt Lake, but I'm looking to actually buy my own home in Arizona. I'm thinking about moving, but also potentially maybe flipping. I was wondering, for anything that does not meet my criteria, can I give it to you? Would you be able to help me, dispose some deals? Basically, you can use an agent as a buyer as well, because they can connect you to their buyers. I think you might be a little frozen. That might be on my end. I don't know. But let's give
Yeah,
them
I'm frozen. I'm
a
gonna
okay.
fix it with switching my camera. We were just talking about that it's gives me sometimes a little bit of a tough time, so I'm gonna switch it over to my less fancy one.
It's all good. Oh, it's all good. Do you want me to call right now, or do you want me to wait till you switch that thing over?
Yeah, here, give me one sec, just so that I'm
Okay.
not throwing anything off here.
And by the way, anybody that's watching this live, give me a little shout out. I'm gonna put you out on the YouTube screen. So oh, there you are.
There you go.
Okay. That's still a good camera. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
But
Okay, cool. But yeah, definitely give Nate a shout out.
yeah, give me a shout out and I'll blast you on here live. Hey guys, let me tell you the importance of networking. Whether you're networking with us, networking with anyone that's in the chat, it's so important. You get deals. I'm telling you, I'm stressing it. You get deals from networking and creating relationships with not only buyers, agents, but wholesalers. I've done tons of deals with wholesalers. Okay. So can you scroll just a little bit so I can see the address of this property? So when I call them about it,
Yeah, let's see.
or you,
Here, let
or
me
you,
let
or
me
you
get
can
it
just
for you really quick. I'm just gonna see if I can unblur
Or you
this
can just tell
blurring.
it to me. It don't matter.
I can't see it either, so I'm gonna. There we go.
Okay, 3092 North.
Just take a picture of that, and I'll send it to you. What's cool about this before you do that,
Mhm,
Nathan, is
mhm.
just so you guys know, you can also like it's so powerful, at least to me. I love this stuff because you're running your numbers in here after you figure things out. Like if you're looking at your subject properties, like with comping, you can look at all of this info. And when you're looking at buyers, you can start to see their portfolio. So this person, this LLC, I'm actually surprised. It's an awesome flip, but they own two properties. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's good to know though, because then you can get a kind of an idea of what their buy box is as well. So when you're starting those conversations with those buyers eventually, you can already kind of see that a lot of the time they're investing in maybe older homes, like their average year built that you can kind of see peaking right here, or they're usually buying 3 beds, 2 baths, like things like that is important to kind of have a visual when you're starting to reach out as well. So anyway, I want to bring that up before I forgot, but let me send this to you really quick, Nathan.
Yeah, of course. And this is in what city of part of AZ is this in?
This is in Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay.
Yeah, let me just send you this screenshot so that you can have it.
You sending it to me on Slack?
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
wait, I'll just text it to you so you
Okay,
can see
that's
that a
fine.
little bit easier. go.
That'll work.
That'll do it. Okay, perfect. There it is.
Perfect. All right. Let me see if I got it. Got it. No problem. All right, AZ. Let's call our guy. What was his name? Oh yeah, I got it right here. Scott Meyer. All right, let's call him. This is my first call today. By the way, you probably should start your calls off with like a role play or practice, or you can come off rusty. We'll see how I do. First call of the day with an agent, right? Let's see. And by the way, agents usually do not answer their phone, so I call twice. And I do have an out-of-state number, so they're probably gonna be like, I ain't answering the spam number. I don't answer calls that call me once ever, really. That's what. No offense, Lindsay. You called me before this call. I didn't answer. I was like, I don't know who this is.
Thanks a lot for calling.
I was like, this is probably some scammer from India.
Well, that's why I text. I always text after. That's same thing with me.
So this is the second call. Let's see if he answers.
Okay.
It's usually like a 90% chance they answer again, but if not, whatever. Scott ain't trying to make money. I don't get how agents, I'm going to go on a rant right now. I don't get how agents, they get paid to answer their phone and accept offers, and they do not answer their phone. If I called an agent that I listed my house with and he did not answer, immediately taking my listing away with him from him.
Sorry, I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
take the call right now.
All right, let me leave a message.
I'll get back to you just as quick as I can. Bye for now.
At the tone, please record your message.
So
When
this
you've
is
finished recording,
initially
you may hang
what
up
I would
or
say
press 1 for more
if he
options.
answered. Hey Scott, how you doing? My name's Nathan. I'm calling about your listing that is in Phoenix. I was on 3029 North. The reason I was calling is because I see that it looks like a beautiful home that's been flipped. And I'm actually looking to buy a home in the area myself, but I also flip. But I primarily do my deals in Utah. But the reason I'm calling is it looks like you represent a lot of cash buyers in the area that that are flipping. So I was wondering if we could chat. I'm looking for some flipping from opportunities to flip properties. I also find properties that I don't want to flip and I want to wholesale. So let me know if you're interested in working with me. It looks like you do work with cash buyers. So I'd love to chat. So give me a call back or I'll send you a text as well, and look forward to talking. Thanks. Bye. All right. So that would be basically it. And just see, and we would network, right? And right after we network, I'd put his information in my CRM and I'd follow up. If you have a lot of conversations, I'd say at least 10 to 20 conversations like that a day, you're going to get a deal. You're going to find an opportunity if you do this consistently. The problem is a lot of people, they want to make money and do deals, but they're not making calls. They're not connecting. They're not taking action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, would you say that for anybody that is hesitant on starting to call either buyers or agents, obviously it's going to be so much different, a different dynamic and feel of the call compared to sellers. But what would you say for that specifically? Because that can be really scary, even, talking with buyers and agents for some people. For any advice that you could give people on how to kind of get over that hurdle, or would you say like role playing is a thing for people to try out, find people in communities and things like that?
Yeah. So there's two, I got two answers to that. So one, I would say role playing and practicing is going to help you out a ton. So if you don't have, or if you're not a part of a community, I definitely would invite you to join. I think the batch, can anyone join the batch community, or do you have to have batch leads?
I think anybody could join it. So if you guys have interest in it, then we will definitely get you in there. I mean, there's so many different people providing value. So I don't want to exclude anybody from that.
Right.
So definitely.
Yeah. And I also have a free community as well in Discord on my Facebook group as well, where you should be connecting with other people to just role play and practice. Now that's the answer to the first answer. Second is, if you aren't genuine, if you're not real, if you feel like you have to lie, it is going to be difficult for you to get on that phone. So when I'm saying that, if you're calling this agent and you're like, hey, my name's John and I'm a flipper, and you haven't flipped one deal, it's going to be hard for you to want to make that phone call, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you guys, if you're brand new, to lie. I'm telling you, just be genuine. Call this guy and say, hey, look, I'm new to the area. I'm from wherever, or you just say, hey, I'm new to investing, but I find a lot of opportunities and I'm not ready to flip right now, but I see you work with a flipper. If I find anything, can I bring it to you that you would help me bring it to your buyers? That's a genuine conversation. You're being honest, you're being real. And there's nothing to be afraid of. If the guy's like, I don't want to work with you, you're new and you don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
call the next person.
Yeah, I
But
was just about to say, for anybody like that, just move on, from somebody that maybe doesn't want to deal with somebody new. But because I think that that's a lot of the fear as well, is I don't want to say that I'm new. And that's where the lying comes in.
it's
Because you're
totally
like, I'm
fine.
going to sound credible and like I know what I'm talking about, even though I want to just get the ball rolling, and you got to start somewhere.
I think being this conversation that people build up in their mind as new investors, that they have to act like they're an experienced investor, they have to act like they know like everything. That's where they get messed up, because they're like, well, what if they ask me a question I'm not ready? Don't do that. I can have a genuine conversation with someone. I'm new in Phoenix. I don't do a lot of deals in Phoenix, so I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm new. I've done deals in other areas. And if I haven't done deals, I'd say, hey, I'm brand new in investing in general, but I know a little bit about it. I'm going to start looking for deals. Can you help me? And if he's like, no, I don't work with noobs, then be like, okay, some agents are going to like that. They're going to miss out, because who brings people a lot of deals? New, hungry investors that are willing to hustle and grind. When I first started, I brought a deal to an agent. I didn't know. I got like a $42,000 assignment fee. I thought it was great.
Nice.
It was great.
Yeah.
But what happened is he was more experienced. He took it from me and he went in and flipped it for like 150K. But I didn't know, right? So all I'm saying is, people that do not work with new investors, not saying to take advantage of them, but they just don't know how to make the amount of money that an experienced person would. So if you don't work with them, you're giving up on a lot of opportunities.
Right. Absolutely. I think that is super vital to just remember, is that with anything, you got to start somewhere, and you just got to go along and figure it out and be honest along the way and genuine. So
That's right. And Braxton Sutton from, I think he's from my community, says, you're right, Nathan, this is true. And I really believe that's like deep down, like that's why people don't want to make these calls, is they feel like they got to be something they're not. And if they get caught, they're going to look like idiots or feel like they're dumb. Nah, don't try to act.
yeah, you're going to find the right people, I think, that you want to surround yourself with anyway, that are excited for you to get into it. And it might not be your first call, it might be down the line, but to just continue. So I wanted to ask you too, Nathan, this question just came in. Since we've been talking about buyers, let's talk a little bit about, now with looking for deals. I had this question in the community with dealing with wholesaling notice of sale in pre-foreclosure. Like, can this be done? Had a couple questions about this, and people going back and forth with notice of sale, which, by the way, you guys can find that stuff in here too. And back leads, I'll kind of have it up while we're talking about it. But what's your, if any, like your experience with that, or, those types of properties and what you can do with those?
If something has not been foreclosed on, like if the bank does not own it yet, you can do a lot of things. You can stop a foreclosure. So if someone's in pre-foreclosure, you can stop it by showing like an agreement they have the right to purchase it. We actually stopped a sale in Richmond, Virginia, where it was going to go to foreclosure, but we had the attorney that we were working with, the title companies, this information, they were able to prolong it. So yeah, like if you're working with that's actually a super motivated seller lead, right? If someone's about to lose their home, you just need to be able to act quick. And that's the power of networking, is you might not know what to do, but if you have the right attorney, the right title company, or the right, coach or mentor that can help you navigate that situation, you can definitely make money on deals like that by stopping it and getting it done. So I think to answer your question is just, if you have that opportunity, just make sure you have the right people in your corner so you can take it to the finish line.
Okay, cool. Because, there's a lot of things like that. And once again, for all of you guys watching, if you're wanting to get into a community, like let us know. Once again, Nathan has one in Discord. We have one with Batch Service to help you obviously with the product and to have this group of people answering those and asking those questions that maybe you've always wondered but you just haven't put it out there type deal, and in your market as well. So I thought that that was a really good one, just because there are so many different data points that I found anyway, when talking with people new into the investing space, they're like, I don't even know, like, is this a good data point? Like, what does this really mean? And what I found is that nobody wants to ask, what does this mean type deal? Like, people just say, oh, pull a pre-foreclosure list or whatever the case is. And then people just say, okay, and they don't know. And I think it's just, we have to talk more about what these data points are actually bringing up and what is actually going on in that type of person that you're pulling in that list, like somebody that has a notice of sale type deal. Like, why is that somebody you should reach out to? How could they seriously benefit from you reaching out to them? And what type of opportunity is that? So yeah, I love that. And you guys can pull that right here in Batch Leads too.
Yeah, it's so sad when sellers lose their homes because they just drag their feet, right? It's like
Yeah.
we could help those people. We can take over their payment. We can do pretty much anything to get them to that, like help them not lose their home. But that's unfortunately a lot of the time sellers are in pre-foreclosures because they drag their feet, right? They're not making their payments, they're not taking action, and they'll lose their home, unless you do your best, your job to help them get get it taken care of, right? Get it to the finish line. Yeah, so we had a deal that was actually in pre-foreclosure. The seller was like, yeah, kind of like dragging his feet, and we're like, dude, you got to take action. You're gonna lose this thing. You're gonna have a pre-foreclosure on your record. We're gonna make sure you do not, and we're gonna get you some money out the door. Now, it took like some major convincing, but we were able to get it done. And it's sad, it's weird. It's like we have to like make you sell your home, or not make you, but like really push you to. And that's what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's been times too, because I think that can also be difficult. Like when you come in here, you're pulling your list, and you'll run into people when you're making those calls. They say, you have the wrong number or whatever the case is. Sometimes people are lying. Like they don't even understand that. First of all, they might have been getting a ton of calls from other people trying to help them in that situation, but they don't even know what to do about it, or they will lie when you do talk to them about it, like, oh, we're getting it taken care of, we've got it, and then shortly after you'll see that the house has been foreclosed. It's really terrible.
You're like,
no, yeah, you're like, we could have helped you. So
sure.
it's sad to see. So that's the whole thing in here is being able to make your spread and everything, but you're also finding these people that are in distress situations. So
for sure. There's a quick question that came through the YouTube. Sean Baxter's asking, what CRM are you using? So if you're referring to this software that we have pulled up, that's Batch Leads. It can be used as a CRM, but that's Batch Leads that we're looking at. I actually put the link to Batch Leads in the YouTube comment if you guys want to try it out for 7 days for free. But the other CRM that I use is it's through Go High Level. If you guys ever heard of that, it's like one that's like built for, I coach, right? So it's for coaching and I use it for real estate. I wouldn't recommend using the one that I have for just real estate. I am looking at a new CRM right now that's actually very, very inexpensive. That's like for holding your leads, holding your buyers, your agents, following up. That's something I'm exploring. So just check in with me, Sean, later. Maybe in a week, I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about this new CRM I'm checking out.
Yeah, but if anybody's wondering about this, or you aren't familiar with Batch Leads, where we're showing you guys like how to pull these buyers, how to find out, like one of my favorite things when you're in that MLS tab, reading the description, because you'll find kind of a mix of things. Sometimes you'll see the description saying this one needs a lot of love, this needs a lot of work, and you're like, oh, cool. Like you can tell that this one is a fixer-upper kind of deal. And then you'll find on the other end of like beautifully remodeled, things like that. But you guys can find all of this information through batch leads, finding buyers, sellers in here, you're able to organize and manage that data as well. So you can list stack and find, those really, really motivated sellers too within your database. Skip trace them to get their right party contact information here, drive for dollars, market. So if you guys are curious about this, use the link that Nathan dropped, because this is an awesome platform that we have awesome data to provide here too for you guys.
And
But
it's always improving. Always
always.
improving.
100%. Yeah. And I'll teach you guys how to use it if you get into the community and everything like that. And then obviously having the support of other people that are using it every single day is huge. But I love this stuff. Obviously, Nathan is really passionate about this and all of his teaching that he provides for you guys too. So
That's right. That's right. Well,
see
yeah. Anything else, Landry? I think we've done pretty good today, kind of talking about buyers.
Yeah. I think that is huge to really focus on. So I'm glad we got to have a good conversation about that. I had this other one. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Is there anything else that we're missing in the chat, or anything that you guys are wondering about that are here with us? Do you want to look at your market, help with this stuff while we're here together? Put that in the chat. If you want to go and do what I kind of did here and see how to do this so that when you hop off, you can do this properly, let us know, and we'll definitely do it and check it out. But in the meantime, I want to find this question I just had the other day.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, anyone that's watching this, I know Sean and Braxton have been pretty active. If anybody's watching, and I see there's a couple of people watching, if you have any questions, please, this is the time. Like if you're scared or not scared, but if it's tough to take action, or there's something that's holding you back, let us know what it is, and we'll do our best to help you out. Like that's why we do this. We don't do this because we're just wasting time. We want to help people succeed, whether they're using batch right now or whether anything. We want to help you guys make money, because there's nothing worse than wasting all your time. We don't want you to waste your time. We want you to use it wisely and have it return dividends.
Absolutely. Yeah, put that in the chat, guys. While you guys do, for you, Nathan, I wanted to ask this question that I got a couple weeks ago in terms of when you're brand new, how do you pick your market? Like, what are the things that help you even decide where you should go? Like, how large should the population be? Does that matter? Like, those things for anybody here that is thinking, okay, I live here in Arizona, I guess I got to do it in Arizona.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Those things that I think aren't talked about either, that also comes into making sure that you're finding good deals, not just whatever you're seeing in these huge list type deal too. So
I can share my screen really quick and answer
let's do that.
question. Let me
Yeah.
see. So this is an outline that I made for my business, and I've given it out to people that I work with in my program to show them like how to pick their market, or pretty much to do the whole business. So this is my my mind map. Okay, so right here, picking your market. All right, number one, pick your market. That's pretty much the first thing you have to do when you're starting a market anyway. So best case scenario, to work your own backyard. It's just easy, because if you're brand new, then you can go meet with sellers, you can shake hands, you can get denied in person. So you're learning quickly, right? But backyard is probably the best. This enables you to see properties and meet in person. You don't have to only do your own backyard if it meets the following criteria, though. You don't want to do your own backyard if you live in a town of like 1,000 people. Then it's just a waste of your time. So population needs to be greater than 50,000. I've actually heard it needs to be greater than 100,000 from other. It's an opinion at that point. But if you follow the strategy that I teach of finding your buyers first, and you find like that top guy in a market of 50,000, and you find out what he wants, then you could do it in a market of 50,000. Because you have that buyer. But you definitely don't want to sorry, that was a call I got. But yeah, you definitely don't want to do it in a town that's super small if you don't know who's going to buy your deal. But yes, so there you go. So you want to do your own backyard if you can. And you also don't want to do it in a town that's small if it's over 90 miles away from a major metro. Now, why is it important to be in a major metro or highly populated areas? Because that's usually what causes flippers or investors to want to invest. If there's a low interest in an area for rents, like then no one's going to really want to buy rentals, right? Like, so you're going to have that population that's constantly moving. If there's not a high population, then people aren't, moving their families around and moving into the area to live. So it's very important that you work in a market that is populated. Okay. That has investor activity. Now, how do you find out if there's investor activity? Well, there's a couple ways. You can use batch and you can see the activity that's going on, right? If you just circle an area and you search for cash buyers, you can say, okay, there's a lot of cash buyers here. Another way that I like to do it is, like I told you guys, I like to work with buyers. So I ask buyers what criteria they have. And luckily, I know how to work with hedge funds. So hedge funds tell me where they're buying. Okay. So would you want to invest in an area where hedge funds are? Yeah, because they're taking millions of dollars of other people's money and investing in it. That probably shows that it's a good market, right? So let's read through some of them. Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Fort Myers, Greensboro, Houston. I mean, the list goes on, but this is a list of good areas to go. You can even see that they've closed some areas. So they closed Salt Lake, which is weird because that's where I am. Now, that doesn't mean that Salt Lake's not good. It just means that they're not wanting to invest their money in that market over other markets, right? They've narrowed it down even further. So Tampa, Tucson, San Antonio. So to answer your question, again, work your own market. It has to be populated. It has to have action. You can check that with batch from what we showed earlier with the cash buyers, or you can start working with buyers and find out what hedge funds or what people are buying in. And this hedge fund is literally giving you markets to go in. Pick one market. Do not pick every market because you'll be scrambling all over the place. It's all about your buyers and your relationships. So you want to pick one, and you'll be too spread out if you try to do too many. I know because I did it. And it's very difficult to maintain relationships all across like multiple cities.
I'm sure. Yeah. I think that, for everybody here, once again, it's like kind of just recapping on being able to start with finding your buyers. And you can, once again, do that right in batch and through communities, through Facebook, so many different ways and different resources to find these people. But find the buyers, give them a call, give the agent a call, and go from there on what they actually want. And then once again, you can pull your list right in here, do a circle on the map, focus on that one area. But being able to start somewhere, I think, is huge, with that, because it gives you a clear idea when there's so many different things that you could focus on. You're like, what do I get good at first? It's like, building those relationships with buyers, I think, has just become so obviously one of the most important things when you're getting started.
Of course. Now, I want to say one thing. So there's this guy named Jay Connor that's in one of my masterminds that I'm in. And I think he lives in a town like north of North Carolina, like not north of North Carolina, north of one of the bigger cities in North Carolina. It has 50,000 people in it. But he crushes it in that one little market. But he's the buyer. He's buying. So he knows what he wants. And he's kind of like the guy. Everyone knows about him when he has a radio commercial or an ad, like Jay Connor. He's the guy to sell your house to if you're distressed. So if you're in a small area, yes, you can crush it, but only if you're the buyer and you have the money and you're constantly doing those deals, or you're bringing deals to that buyer. But if you don't know who that is, you're gonna have trouble moving it in such a small area. So that's how you can succeed in a small town, is if you're the go-to guy that's flipping, or the go-to guys and you can bring them deals.
Love it. Awesome. Do we have anything else or any questions that you guys have had kind of in the meantime? Let us know here in the chat if there is anything, but let's check.
Yeah. So most of the comments have come through are just like, hey, yeah, you got this. I think, I'm not sure what this, Sean, you said you got this. Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if you're giving me encouragement or anything, but hey, I guess I got this. You got this.
Heck yeah. Yeah. All of you guys got this. It's,
right.
I think it's just huge to continue to always verbalize that too with everybody that you're around and provide that value and support to everybody that you're in communication with, and continue to just expand that as well. So
of course. Now, I guess I want to leave with one last thing to motivate everyone here. Remember that motivation is fleeting, right? Like I can motivate you guys. You can get pumped right now to make a call, but motivation, again, it will go away. Consistency is the key. Like a routine and being consistent is what will get you where you want to go. Do like diligence, like being diligent in your process of like life. Because today I had a great day, right? Like I felt good, woke up early, I'm feeling good. So you could say today I'm motivated. Yesterday I was so tired. I didn't want to do anything yesterday. I was so tired. But because of like I'm a diligent person, because of my consistency, I was able to not need motivation to take action. I just knew, hey, this is what I have to do to succeed.
Yeah.
So if you guys are listening to motivated speeches or whatever in the morning to get you pumped, like that's okay, but really you need to be able to take action consistently, even when days suck, even when you're feeling great. That's what's going to help you be successful, not like me coming on these calls and us pumping you up. You need to be consistent. So that's all I want to let everyone know is consistency is the key.
Love it. Yep. It's always going to be number one.
And Braxton coming in here hot saying Nathan has a great community. He's very helpful and wants to see everyone become successful. We just have to let go of our fears. There you go. Thank you, Braxton. I appreciate you saying that. And it's so true. Like we all have fears. I get it. Nobody wants to sound like they don't know what they're doing. How do you overcome that? You have to kind of go through not knowing what you're talking about for a while to get there, right? And then you got this actually was a thumbs up. It's just the emoji didn't come through. Got it.
Oh, I see.
Let's see what this is. Jared said, a little off topic, but are there any examples of using hard money on an investing strategy that is not a fix and flip? That's a great question. So are there any examples of using hard money that is not a fix and flip? Yes. So you can use hard money, Jared, to purchase a property and then you can refinance or burr out of it instead of flipping it, right? So for example, if I want to buy a house in Arizona right now, right? Let's say the house in Arizona needs a little bit of work. It wouldn't qualify for a traditional loan. I buy with hard money, and I'm willing to pay the 2% and the 2% for points and 12% interest over the year. And then I know, okay, I just got to fix up a couple things, and then I'm going to live in it myself. I would then, instead of flip it and sell it, I would just refinance, cash out, refi out of the property and go to a bank and say, hey, I want to live in this. And then they do an appraisal. They figure out, okay, you bought the house for 180, it's worth 300,000 or 250 now. And then if you have any cash in it, they would you get some cash out of it. That's called a burr. So burr, a lot of people use hard money to burr. Okay, they buy with hard money and then they refinance out of it. Well, actually, burr is actually when you rent it out. I was referring to you would live in it, but if you wanted to burr and rent it out, you could do that as well.
Right.
But that you can use that with hard money. I don't think there's anything much other than that with hard money, because you're usually, if you're going to do it, you're trying to either sell it, but you can keep it if you would like for yourself. That helped, Jared. That helped, Jared. I don't know if you can respond quick enough. Makes sense. Thanks. All right, you got it. All right, everybody. Well, Landry, that was awesome. I had a good time. Do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I think that's pretty much it. But I think that just the power is in connecting, and I think just overall, you have to start somewhere, and sometimes you're just not gonna, whatever it is, like literally whatever it is, you're not gonna know what you're talking about at first until you continue doing it, and now you know. So I think that literally is in anything we go through in life, whether it's investing or relationships we have with people or things that we're practicing within ourselves, is you just gotta to take the action and continue on. So anyway,
that's it. And I think everybody watching here wants to know where you got that cool shirt. That's
oh,
what
it's actually a dress. I just bought it yesterday. Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, really?
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
Where'd
It's
you
little,
get
I
it?
know, I'm like always just wearing like super like jeans and like, you know, stuff growing up with all my brothers and everything. But today I was like, I'll mix it up, you know, but it is pretty cool.
Where'd you get it? That's nice.
It's at Lizard Thicket. It's like such a specific
Lizard Thicket, huh?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm visiting down in Arizona. I'll go to a few places I used to go to over here that I don't see in Tennessee. Like over where I'm at, there's like nothing, you know, the one like busy road where everything's on. You're like, I don't even want to deal with that place. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good to visit.
That's what's up. I get most of my clothes from Costco, as you can see.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck
right
yeah.
there.
Way to go. There's some good stuff. Yeah, we have Sam's
freaking
Club by
deals.
us, but
Yeah, you get some.
we get stuff there all the time.
Sam's Club is great too, but you know, Costco
Costco's that's where it's at. Yeah, if we had a Costco, that's where we'd be going.
It's either Kirkland or it's like batch. It's like batch gear right
Oh
here.
yeah. I know I have a bunch of batch shirts and jackets and stuff. It's the good
That's it.
stuff.
That's it. Okay. Well, now everybody got that question answered. I guess we can tune out, right? Okay. Well, hey, we'll see you guys next week. We do this every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Wherever you are, just figure out that time zone difference, and we're here. We're here to help out. Peace out,
Yep.
everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Okay.